Well, what a massive week in rugby league it has been so far, and still a lot more to come. State of Origin being the pinnacle of the week, and certainly the rugby league calendar to date. It was absolutely amazing. Please watch that video if you haven't already. So I just need to get my tips in before the kickoff of the first game tonight. So let me just run through a few thoughts. There's a lot of player movements, players coming back from injury, players being out through suspension or injury from State of Origin. So we're going to have a quick go at this and just sort of see what my thoughts are, but see what could happen this weekend. I think there's going to be a few interesting results. I mean, it's round 20. There's not much left of the season to go. For a number of teams, it's make or break from now. Certainly, a few of them, they need to win every single game if they're even a slight chance of making the top 8. So it's going to be just one hell of a finish to the season. First game up for the weekend for round 20 is Raiders versus Warriors in Canberra. Halfback Jamal Fogarty for Canberra is back. The Raiders also welcome back Hudson Young and Zach Hosking. I think Tom Starling's back as well. He might have been back a week or two. The Raiders are almost full strength. I do like KO Weeks at fullback. They've decided to keep him in the 17 but move him back to fullback. Of course, he's done that for the last few weeks with mixed moments, but he's probably playing himself into a bit of form into that position, and I do like Jordan Rapana on the wing. The makeup of that side's pretty strong. And then for the Warriors, they've had quite a few changes, although Mitch Barnett and Kirk Capewell, by all accounts, are backing up from State of Origin. Kirk Capewell being the more interesting aspect to that because he did play bigger minutes. Mitch Barnett, though, was caught up in a lot of physical stuff. So they will back up. They're in Canberra now. The big news for the Warriors this week was Tohu Harris is out for the remainder of the season, and that is significant. Adam Fanua-Blake's obviously going to have an increased role. Certainly Dylan Walker will, and Mitch Barnett, I believe, will be captain. But they are, other than that, they are looking like a pretty strong side. Centres, however, certainly the full-packs looks pretty good even without Tohu Harris. But the centres, however, they don't have Montoya at the moment. He's injured, so you've got Tane Taupiki at fullback because Chance Nickel-Clockstad's not available as well. Watini Zalesniak is. So Ali Loatua is coming in for Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, who's moved out to the wing in place of Montoya. No sign of Sean Johnson as yet, but I still kind of prefer Maida Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita. And look, again, as I sort of said, make or break for some teams. It is pretty much make or break for the Warriors. I think they could potentially afford to lose one game between now and the finals. However, they need to just be trying to win everything. I'm going to also make a video about sometime this weekend about what teams I think will make the top 8. So I'm just keen to just do that for myself anyway. I think that could be quite interesting. So in terms of what I think will happen in this game, the odds are pretty even. I feel like it will be a close one. The Raiders have been pretty mixed of late. Again, they've got Jamal Fogarty back, so that's going to be interesting. I just feel like the Warriors might get there tonight. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this one is a tough one to call, but I'm going to be completely biased and lean towards the Warriors winning that 1 to 12. The odds are pretty close, but Raiders are favourites, and you'd probably have to edge that way just because they're at home. But I'm going to tip the Warriors because I think they were robbed slightly. I mean, we've covered that off, but they were robbed against the Bulldogs and Golden Point, which was an enormous effort. I feel like they've had the week off, but they're going to want to try and make up for that. So I think they will step up and bounce back from that. I'm expecting more from Adam Fanua-Blake. As I mentioned before, he's been pretty quiet in the last month and a half, and he needs to sort of step up now that Tohu's out. In particular, for me, he's one of the key men that need to stand up. Moving on to the next game, we've got Rabbitohs versus West Tigers. Cameron Murray is out for 2 weeks through suspension, as we know, after State of Origin. We'll see who comes in for him. But otherwise, not too many changes. Of course, Latrell Mitchell's still not there. And then in terms of the West Tigers, Api Coruscant, he's out. He's not going to play because of his calf injury. And so that means young Talon De Silva will play. And then who else? Ruben Porter and Solomella are so they're just working out their team at the moment. But I think that 1 to 17 is pretty much just going to be as they are. Jack White in 5/8 has been pretty massive for the Rabbitohs. Jai Gray's going to come in at fullback for, of course, Latrell Mitchell will be out for a while. Cameron Murray's out, but Keon Koloa-Matangi is going to be starting lock. And so I don't think they lose much, although Cameron Murray was named on the edge. Looks like Tallis Duncan's going to fill that role. Yeah, for me, I think, as I've said before, the Tigers are the worst team in the competition. I don't think they'll throw much of a shot in at this one. It's a home game for the Rabbitohs, but although it's in Sydney anyway. But Rabbitohs are strong favourites to win. I think Rabbitohs 1 to 13. Sorry. I think Rabbitohs 13 plus will win. They'll win 13 plus. Tigers won't fire too many shots. You never know, but I think the Rabbitohs, the Bunnies, will be too strong. Then we've got the Knights versus Broncos. The Knights, Kalyn Ponga and Bradman Best, and then Dane Gagai. It looks like they'll all back up. Kalyn Ponga played about 30-odd minutes. Dane Gagai had a big game and he looked pretty gassed at the end there when he sort of couldn't get his hands on Bradman Best to score. Bradman Best has stitches. He may not back up because of that. But they have been named, so we'll wait and see. I don't think that'll sway my tip here anyway. Although the big call in this game is Adam Reynolds has been named to play. He's been confirmed to return from injury. He hasn't played for a couple of months or something. But we really need to sort of see how the Origin players, whether they back up or not. I'm reading here. 3 of 4 are cleared to back up. So Pat Carrigan, Payne Haas and Reece Walsh will line up for Brisbane, Selwyn Cobbo to sit out the match. So that's massive, isn't it? That's such a big deal. I don't know what the makeup will be. I can't see a team list with those players at the moment. Adam Reynolds being still quite key for me in that sense, more than anyone. The Broncos' attack has not been very strong, and since he got injured, and the whole team has sort of struggled, mainly because he hasn't been playing. Does it sway my tip? I don't know. I feel like this game will be a little bit closer than maybe the bookies. I don't know. Yeah, bookies suggest. Although Broncos have definitely moving to stronger favourites for this one. It's in Newcastle. I think the Knights will get closer than. Yeah, I think it'll be a close one. So, but who I would tip is the challenge, isn't it? I had the Knights, but because Adam Reynolds has been named and those 3 Broncos have been named to play, including Reece Walsh, I think that's enough for me to go with the Broncos. Their season is on the line. It's a must-win one. I think the Knights are probably in that category as well, but this is make or break for the Broncos to make a statement for their top 8 claims. Let's go Broncos 1 to 12. Storm versus Roosters. Storm, not favourites at home. That has been talked about a little bit. That's not normal. It's the first time in a long time. What's happening with the Storm? So we've got Harry Grant. It sounds like he will back up, but we should find that out today. And Nick Meaney's returning. And then for the Roosters, Soali'i's coming back from his 4-game suspension after Game 1 in Origin. Victor Radley looks like he's back from concussion. And then it's just a case of what's happening with the State of Origin players. But I believe they've been cleared and they'll make a decision in the next day or two. Ryan Papenhuyzen is back, of course, for the Storm, which is quite massive for them. And I know that for a long young fella, he's been playing pretty well, but Ryan Papenhuyzen offers that experience, and he is a very, very class player. Jerome Hughes, Tyrone Wishart in the halves, and of course we'll be looking out for Cameron Munster soon. James Tedesco has just been on fire, one of the most informed players in the last month. So yeah, I can understand why the Roosters are favourites. Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton, and Connor Watson will back up. Watson didn't have massive minutes. Spencer Leniu as well. It's a really tough game to call. I'm leaning towards the Storm. To be fair, I think it'll come down to how well the Storm defence is against the Roosters' attack. Roosters being the best attacking side this year so far. Storm at home, you'd feel a little bit more comfortable if Cameron Munster was playing, but I just have a feeling that I'm going to go with Storm 1-12. I just got a feeling that they'll pull that one off. No real justification to that tip, but just being at home, it should be super close. Then we've got Panthers versus Dolphins. First game on Sunday, that is at Bluebet Stadium. And so home in Penrith, so home game for Penrith. Nathan Cleary is back. Probably the biggest news this whole weekend. He is back, of course. Sort of asked that question. Well, would he have been ready for Origin? I like the fact that the Blues went stood strong and made sure that went with Moses and didn't rush Nathan Cleary back. I know we've seen that in Origins of gone past, where Andrew Johns had come back for a decider. Alfie Langer had done the same thing. Kind of felt like maybe that could have happened with Nathan Cleary coming back for the Blues, but I'm pretty glad with the way it's worked out, and I think that from a Nathan Cleary point of view, it sounds like they have definitely made sure that he's right to come back this time. So let's wait and see on that front. Dylan Edwards is out. He's got a knee injury. I think he's out for a few weeks. And Isaiah Yeo wasn't named anyway. He wasn't even in the extended squad. But I believe the other State of Origin players for the Panthers will back up. So we've got Liam Martin, Jerome Luai, and Brian To'o. They've been named on the extended bench. Okay, we don't have the answer yet, but we'll wait and see. Dane Laurie's going to get a bit more time at fullback over the next few weeks. He's just returning back from injury, I believe. And then what have we got? Oh, yeah, okay. So Casey McLean has gone to centre and Paul Alamotu is on the wing. They might swap that around. Brad Schneider is partnering Nathan Cleary in the halves. Otherwise, the forward pack's looking pretty sound. Of course, Yayo's out. And Liam Martin likely to come back in. In terms of the Dolphins, Tabuai Fido is likely to back up, although he was a bit worn out towards the end of that State of Origin game, as we did witness. Otherwise, the team's relatively solid. And Felice Kaufusi should back up. He only played about 16-odd minutes, but Trey Fuller's in the 17, I believe, just to back up Tabuai Fido. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But Max Plath is at hooker because Jeremy Marshall-King is out for a little while. And otherwise pretty solid. And so but I don't think any of that matters. I think the Panthers should win comfortably, and I definitely think that Nathan Cleary's inclusion should add to that and sort of confirm that. What are the odds? Panthers are strong favourites at $1.20 based on the bookmaker I'm looking at. So I'll go Panthers 1-12. I think that the Dolphins will hang in there. I don't feel like this is one where the Panthers will run away with it, certainly with a few players backing up for Origin. But again, some of that depends on whether they do back up. But look, I think that Nathan Cleary's first game back will be reasonably conservative. 1-12, Panthers 1-12 for that one. Seagulls versus Titans on Sunday. The next game after the Panthers, it is at 4 Pines Park. Ola Kawatu, he's out for 2 weeks. Him and Cameron Murray for the same reason. Ben Trebojevic is probably going to come. He's just into that edge spot in place of Ola Kawatu. He's returning for injury as well. Jake Trebojevic and Cherry Evans, they've been named. So again, we're waiting to see if they do back up. Certainly Cherry Evans played a full game. 35-year-old. I mean, he is a machine in that sense. A very, very professional season campaigner. Jake Trbojevic is likely to play because he didn't play significant minutes. Other than that, of course, we've got Tom Trbojevic at fullback again, and then Garrick's been back for a couple of weeks. I feel pretty good about the lineup. Who else? I did want to mention Taniela Paseka is in the mix to make a comeback at the moment. Nathan Brown has been named to start. Jake Simpkins still at hooker. And, Carl Lawton's on the other edge there. So that's that. In terms of the Titans, they're largely undisturbed from an origin point of view. AJ Brimson, however, we're still not sure. He's not in the 17 at the moment. I think he's 18th man. So Keanu Kinney is named at fullback, which he's just been awesome anyway. But of course, they'd prefer AJ Brimson, but Kinney is a pretty sound, solid replacement. And Moekai Fotuaika it's likely he'll back up. He played about 41 or 40 minutes, but they were pretty intense minutes. He certainly was there at the beginning in that very intense period. Chris Randall at lock and play. We had for the Titans, Cleese Haas was at lock for most of the season, but Chris Randall sort of seemed to found his way there. He's a ball playing lock. Through all the different injuries and setups, of course, Randall's played, 5/8 at different times. David Fifita, he's going to probably want to make a half-decent statement after missing out on State of Origin. And Jaden Campbell at 5'8 has basically been a revelation there, and I do like Brimson at fullback if he is available, so Campbell's been kicking. Anyway, this should be a pretty close one. I think Titans are punching above their weight. Des Hasler's definitely getting them, playing well and playing his style, and it's starting to work. Things are starting to click. Kieran Foran against his old club. Again, Des Hasler against his old club. I think Brian Kelly played for the Seagulls as well. It's a really tough game to pick as well. Home game for Manly. They're still playing with a shot for the top 8. They're strong favourites. You'd have to lean that way. I just feel like it'll be a closer game. 2 tries in it, say. So I'll go Manly Seagulls 1-12. Then you've got the Cowboys versus Bulldogs. Cowboys slight favourites in this one. Bulldogs, well, they had the bye, I think, didn't they? But certainly the last game I remember pretty well as they won by Golden Point and against the Warriors. What we do have there is North Queensland, of course, most impacted team. They're the most impacted by State of Origin, aren't they? But it sounds like all 5 of the stars have been declared fit, and we'll wait and see how that all sort of fits in. So that's massive, isn't it? That's massive as I scroll. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see where they come in, because at the moment they were all in the extended bench. So you've got Valentine Holmes, Tom Dearden, Jeremiah Nanai, Reece Robson and Ruben Cotter. You'd expect them all to go in. Ruben Cotter played massive minutes in a very physical role, and Reece Robson, for me, I don't know, he played 60 plus minutes, but man, he was just in everything. Tom Dearden was in, a big game for all of these guys. Now you'd expect to back up, and same with Valentine Holmes. Wait and see. That will be pivotal to my tip as well. In terms of the Bulldogs, what are we looking at? Jacob Preston is back from his injury. Max King's out with the injury, I think, for pretty much the rest of the season, depending on how finals go. Josh Curran is gone to starting prop in Max King's place. Stephen Crichton has been named to back up. I'd say he'll be fine. I didn't hear anything in terms of injury from him, and he hasn't been suspended. Matt Burton's going to play. So there you go. There's the Bulldogs have just been playing so well, haven't they? So yeah, I don't expect any changes to that 17, to be honest. Therefore, what would I do? Well, I guess it depends on whether all the Cowboys State of Origin players back up or not. So, but if they do, you'd have to go Cowboys at home. It's going to be a close one, I think, and I think Tom Dearden coming off his performance at State of Origin is going to be up for it and could play a pretty key role. There's a few players in that Cowboys lineup that probably need to step up a little bit after a little bit of lackluster forms, the like of Scott Drinkwater And of course, those centre positions being hammered. So you'd like to think that Valentine Holmes will come in and provide a bit of a boost for them there. So let's go Cowboys 1-12 for the final game of the round 20. It looks exciting. We're definitely in crunch time now. Every game matters, and I'm going to do a little bit of a forecast of what I think, my prediction will be in terms of the top 8 and who's going to be playing finals. If you have watched this, thanks for putting up with me. Enjoy the footy this weekend. Thanks.